So, I appreciate your support, and what I'd like is just have this urge for a tone and a sound. So I'm going to start, and if you'll all join in with the tone, I'd really appreciate it. If you don't feel like it, don't, but if you want to support me, that's what I'd like. This friend of mine, one of the sweetest lovemaking, besides the many sweet lovemakings we have, was we did this sang kind of hallelujah into each other's mouth from an inch apart, and then you have the sound go into each other's, the chamber in there, so it vibrates, and then you get into a tone where it kind of, when it goes into sync and it's vibrating together. It was really sweet. So thank you very much for coming with me this morning. Recently, I've been held in the arms of the mother. I've been a mother my whole life. It seems pretty much my whole life. When I was really little, I was upstairs in my room, and I called for my mother to bring me a pillow. And I was standing at the top of the steps, and I saw her coming up looking really exhausted up the steps, and I felt so guilty. And from that point on, I had this kind of experience of taking care of. And then I had guardianship of my brothers and sisters when I was 17, and then I had a couple of daughters of my own, and many goddaughters. I love those girls and boys, but I haven't had any little godsons yet. So recently I had the experience of being taken care of myself. I was with another woman who was kind of facilitating, and she pointed out how I'd always been a mother, and it was time for me. And when she said that, the part of me that was the mother and that holds other people in her arms all of a sudden separated from myself, and now she held me in her arms. And I curled up in her arms, and she stroked me and stroked my hair and stroked my face and said, "It's time for you. I'm so sorry I haven't taken care of you. I'm so sorry, all those things that you had to go through without me taking care of you." And then of course I cried and cried as she held me and stroked me. And since that time, I've been able to, check in on her. She said, "Whatever you need, whatever you need." So for a while I forgot she was there and that she had said that, but as soon as I realized that, I started to ask her. One weekend I was going to Robert's house, and I hadn't seen him in a month, and I said, and my daughter was just driving up, my little one, 15-year-old, was driving up to the snow with a 16-year-old, and it was rainy and stormy, and I was scared, and my 21-year-old called and said how lonely she was feeling, and guys were just like dissing her, that's the new word, and it just wasn't happening. And then in my store, I kind of needed some good sales, and I said, "Mother, are you there?" She said, "Yes, of course." And I said, "I really want to have a great weekend with Robert. I want to really connect and go deeper and have fun, and I also have this work to do and get this work done." And she said, "No problem." And I said, "And I really want Shay to be safe and make it back from the snow, but learn a lesson." And she says, "So be it." And I said, and Diva, I want her to have some love. I want her to be taken care of by some male love and male energy that she deserves, and have that love and nurturing. And she said, okay. And I said, and the women in my store, I want them to have fun, to connect with other women, to enjoy themselves, and to have a weekend of abundance. And she said, they're going to have fun and be taken care of. And as far as the abundance, just trust. And I said, does that mean no money this weekend? And she said, just trust. And so at the end of it, I had the most wonderful time with Robert, and we went deeper, we had adventure, and he taught me a accounting program that I needed to know. It was great. And when I got back, there's a message from Diva saying that she had these 2 experiences with this guy where she was really validated, nurtured, and taken care of. And Shay had made it back from the snow safely, but hadn't gotten a chance to ski because she hadn't planned, and she learned that doesn't work. And the women in the store all had a great time, and we didn't have abundant sales. But the next day, we did, and it made up for the whole weekend. So she's there right now saying, to let you all know how available that love is, and how she's there to take care of and to hold all of us.
Bring it in. Yeah. How's that, Devi?
It was good. I would have liked to stop long. I mean, I think I tried to put too many stories into one. So I experienced myself not taking the pauses that I wanted to, and it's not even pauses of space, but pauses of being here. And then at the end, I really wanted to. I knew my time was kind of up, and I had extended into it because I really wanted to. That is what she said, but I wanted to stop and listen a little bit more, because she says it sometimes more. So when I was 17, I had just come to California from New York, and I had already left my body from some black lights and psychedelic music and dances, and I had the California experience minus the drugs. And I went to this party. It was in San Fernando Valley, all the Valley girls and boys, and one of the Beach Boys was there. And it was the first time I'd seen a star up close, and he was a dork, a total dork. And that was an incredible experience to see that a star could be a dork. And my life just started to open a little. And then as I was leaving the party, one of the women said to the guys as he was leaving, do you want to go to Egypt next week? And I thought, wow. I said, did you ever go to Egypt before? And they said, yeah, it's really great. And I thought, wow, they're just a year or two older than me. They've been to Egypt. And all of a sudden, I left the party, and I start walking down the street, and then I start running, and my body starts to fill with this incredible energy, and this voice shouts in my head, and it says, imagination is the force of nature. And since that time, I've had all kinds of adventures, and I've imagined all kinds of things, and the adventures have been as great as any of my imaginings. Although, I have some new imaginings.
Bring it in.
So I've been, a lot of issues around the mother, me as a mother, being nurtured and nurturing others has been a theme of my life, and is very much in a consciousness right now. Robert and I have been together for 2.5 years, and we've known each other for 5 or something. And we got together, we thought we were just be fun lovers and just enjoy each other, kind of on the way to our real relationship. And after about 6 months, it started looking like, oh, maybe it's gonna be harder to separate than we think. After a year, it looked like, oh, still a little harder. He wants to have children, and I've been a mother my whole life. I had guardianship of my brothers and sisters since I was 17, as well as feeling that kind of responsibility from early on. And then I had my own daughters. So I thought I was done, and he saw that I was done. And once when it first came up, we were making love, and I said, oh, maybe I will. And he goes, don't do it, you're almost free. And I said, thanks. What a pal. And then he came up, the next time he came up, he said, well, maybe. And then I struggled with it, and he had to, first I didn't share so much of my struggle. And then I saw, wait a minute, we're in it together. If I'm going to do it, he's got to go through the shit with me. So then then we consciously started the process of getting pregnant. And every time I would think I was pregnant, I would go, oh shit, oh God, please, I won't do it again, please, just let it pass, please, I won't do it again. And then I'd get my period, and I'd be really disappointed. And on to the process again. And then, I'd go through all the different processing and my girlfriends, and it's now time for you to be taken care of. It's time for your little girl to come out, is, what I got when the mother said. And it's time to, my name Devi means Mother of the Universe. When I was in India 25 years ago or something, sitting by the Ganges, I had gone up to the Himalayas to a cave where this saint kept office hours. Little sign, office hours outside the cave door. And I told him I was staying in this ashram, and I had gotten, miraculously, it's another story, I had gotten a year off from taking care of my brothers and sisters. And I was in this ashram, and I wanted to be a disciple of this teacher. And I told the saint that I was, struggling over going back and taking care of my brothers and sisters, or being a disciple, and through this translator said, the world is many, your family is few. Devi is Mother of the Universe, and that's your destiny. And after meditating on that a little, being in the Himalayas in an ashram, the perfect place to meditate, I came up with, yes, Mother is some destiny, and the ones that are pulling on my apron strings right now are, back home. And so I went back to take care of them. And and then I became, the over-mother that takes care of everyone. And part of it is such a gift and so wonderful to be able to have the mother present, and she's present when somebody's playing that role. And recently, when I connected to her, she's been saying, let me play it. You don't have to take it on, let me. And I said, well, who are you? She said, well, I'm you. But I'm more than you. You don't have to do it. Just surrender and let me do it. And so I've been also looking at the part of having another child, letting go of that, like wondering, why did that come up? Why am I with this guy? I've never had a shortage of men in my life, or women. One of my gifts, it hasn't been necessarily abundance of money, although I've had a lot go through me, but definitely an abundance of love. So it's not out of any shortage I'm with this guy, but somehow I love being with him, and we've tried separating and haven't been able to do it. So I realized that sharing the story, when you said something would come up when we took our break, what came up was my period. And I'm like, okay, we have to process this again. And she says, whatever I want. And she'll provide it. And I, just like you, being in the space of the confusion of not knowing what reality is, I don't know what I want. And that's where I rest at the moment. Mine is, we've come a long way, baby. And Actually, he's better than the chair. But, and since there's nowhere to go, we've come a long way here into this place of sharing our love and being able to say hi to you and to feel that love. And also, when I was just flying back last time, the day before last, this airline stewardess who was amazing. Now they have 50-year-old, she's 52-year-old airline stewardess, which is wonderful. You have this deep nurturing also that you don't get taken care of. And she was saying how, we were saying, we had a little women's group somehow forming, the energy was and we were saying how women stopped kind of responding to the violence and making it wrong and just started to share with each other and make sure start making things work. And being in this room with all these sweet men has been really a treat because, it's obvious now we don't have to do it alone and do it for the men now. And so thank you very much. Thanks for all your love and support.
Ditto.